Welcome back to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Last time, we officially went on the run from the Dayan army with the princess in tow, and we've decided to take her to Gallia. I'm really excited for this chapter, mainly because it contains one of my favourite lines in the entire series from Grail. Also, this is the first time we're seeing a full overview of this world. I like that they're doing this early. I'm kind of debating whether I should read these out or not, because in Radiant Dawn, all of these sequences are actually voice acted. Without warning, Crimea's eastern neighbour, the Kingdom of Dayan, launches an attack on Crimea's capital city of Melior. And here we see where Dayan is. And Dayan is sending out arrows. Ike leads a handful of mercenaries to Melior to confirm Soren's news of the attack. En route, they happen upon a young woman, unconscious but unharmed. Fearing for her safety, they take her to their stronghold. When she awakes, the woman gives her name as Elincia and lays claim to the title of Princess of Crimea. She relates the sad tale of her flight from Crimea, and of her parents' murder at the hands of Ashnard, King of Dayan. The Grail mercenaries answer Princess Elincia's plea for help, and agree to escort her to the Kingdom of Gallia. Which is there. Located to the southwest of Crimea, Gallia is home to the Laguz, a race quite unlike Ike and his fellow Bjork. This is our pretty much first mention of the two races of this series. So, just to point this out, I used to pronounce it Laguz, but Radiant Dawn's voice acting confirms that it's actually Laguz, so that's how I'll say it here. Crimea and Gallia have long struggled to overcome their differences. In recent years, the two kingdoms have done much to ease the prejudice between the Laguz and Bjork factions. Their combined efforts have forged a bond of trust and friendship that may yet overcome years of intolerance. Ike and company escaped the Dayan army, abandoning their longtime base. From there, they begin the long march towards Gallia. Their task clear and their destination far, they slip into an ocean of trees. Yeah, I think I'll be doing that from now on. I normally don't like reading out dialogue when I do games, I prefer to just comment on it, but those sequences are voice acted in Radiant Dawn, like I said. So I want to match that. And so, here we are in the forest. Yeah, you kind of have to carry your armor with you. Never know when we're getting to a fight, after all. Also, Titania's line here is pretty great. And our first instance of that word. So this is part of why I really don't like Shinnen. He is one of the few openly racist characters who is on your side and never turns around throughout the entire game. Yeah. Also, he's one of the few racist characters in this game who doesn't have any kind of excuse for it in his backstory. We really have no idea why Shinnon is like this. There is one throwaway line, actually, from Radiant Dawn's quote-unquote support conversations, where Shinnon says that his mother never hugged him when he was a child, but that's the closest we get. So Soren is explaining that we have the Beast Tribe, the Bird Tribe, and the Dragon Tribe. Those are the three main types of Lagoos. So the ones we'll probably be meeting first are the Beast Tribe. Bird Tribe seem to mostly live on the islands. And then there are the Dragon Tribes, who almost never interact with the outside world. Well, I mean, Ike is fairly young, and he hasn't been to many other countries at this point. Well, that'll hopefully get us out of the heat. Yeah, shut up, Shinnon. I'd almost think that he'd consider that worse than the forest. Meanwhile, in generic enemy land... Oh no, that's not a good sign for you. The moment that you began your report with that, you sealed your fate. You're definitely gonna die, sorry. And by step down, I mean you're gonna be scheduled for execution in about 5 seconds. Well, here are the problems of having a tactician on the enemy side. Yeah, say that to her face. Well, that's probably not good for us. And coming up is one of Grail's best lines in this whole game. Well, let's see. Yeah, that would be Mist, Rolf, Rice, and most likely Alincia. One of the few times where splitting up is actually smart. Not if the enemy doesn't pay them attention. If the enemy thinks the small group is no threat, then again, this is a pretty common tactic. They might see this coming. Oh, I actually really like this line too. For some reason, there are a few lines in Path of Radiance that have always stood out to me. This is one of them. I just think this is a pretty cool line. Okay, here it is, here it is. I love this speech. This speech is amazing. And once again, Shinnon and Gatry are away from our main party. So Ike and his dad are splitting up. I'm sure Grail and those two can handle themselves. Well, okay, this line is kind of funny. You put all the cavalry in the other group, so technically you have less mobility because you have only foot people and Gatry. Here's the speech. It's just, I love those lines so much. To me, those lines just like... Let's look at them again, like this whole speech. This speech, to me, sums up what the essence of the Fire Emblem series is. Just particularly that part about, it matters not what our blood ties are, we are family. If you don't want to cause your family any grief, then live. If anyone asked me to sum up Fire Emblem in one line, it would be that line. That speech is just so good. And so, here is the ambush waiting for us. So we'll have to get through them before the pursuit catches up, which, spoilers, from a pure gameplay standpoint, the pursuit never catches up to you. The only benefit to finishing this quickly is extra bonus experience. Yeah, quite a few enemies here. No, I think we're pretty much good. Okay, an overview of the terrain here. There's a pretty unique gimmick to this chapter. I'll try and show that off at the start, even though it is terrible for your turn count. That's probably something that we can't afford. Plus, if they realize that we have the princess with us, they'll start ignoring Grail's group, and that'll ruin the whole splitting up plan. And, of course, Mist and Rolf are in charge of the princess because, yeah, to get them out of the way because they can't fight at this point. yeah, think of it like that. It's a game of hide and seek, except if you lose, you die. No pressure or anything. And battle preparations time. So we start out in the trees here, and we've got a fairly straightforward map, just with a big river and a couple of bridges. This is a new victory condition, escape. So the only bare minimum you need to achieve is that Ike has to reach the escape point. But everyone besides Ike who reaches the escape point is worth bonus experience. Don't worry, these missions are not anywhere near as sadistic as they are in Thracia, where, yeah, I'll talk about that later. Also, we have a boss here. He is a halberdier, the promoted form of soldiers, which is actually a new class of this game. And he has the Serenity skill for some reason. It's not really going to be doing much, but, yeah, also has a short spear, which is kind of the upgraded form of a javelin. Got a bunch of enemies around here. There is one fighter around this side. Actually, no, not a fighter, an axe knight. This poleaxe is effective against cavalry, so you'll need to watch out for that, although I still find that Titania is not in much danger from it. We also have enemy mages for the first time. Enemy mages in this game are pretty terrible. Yeah, only 7 magic with 2 might weapons, 9 attack power. I mean, Boyd is at risk from them, but he's pretty much the only one. Also a bunch of enemies, some of them have javelins. Okay, that's a drawable vulnerary. I'll have to get my hands on that before the enemies start swiping it. There's this guy down here who probably won't be doing much. Enemy priests are pretty nice once we get thieves, but we don't have thieves yet. Obviously, we have no choices on who to choose here. We can't even choose to not deploy certain characters. Okay, repositioning. I actually want Titania to be over here, and so the issue at this point is that we are going to be slowed down a lot if we're going to be making use of this map's main gimmick. I think this is fine though. Before I do anything else though, I'm going to want to change some of my items around because, okay, that iron blade, we obviously don't really need that, and Ike definitely doesn't have enough strength to use that effectively, so I might actually just give that to you. I'm just going to be using Rice as like an item storage because, okay, here's the main reason. why I want to swap some items around. We actually do not have a supply convoy yet. And because of that, if we pick up any new weapons, then we're forced to discard a weapon that we're already carrying. So, yeah, we need to make sure that our inventories don't get too full. Especially since the chapter after this has treasure chests. So we want to free up some inventory space for opening the chests. I think at this point we should be fine in terms of items. I actually want to break Titania's Iron Axe here just to free up inventory space, or I can just chuck it when I get her to grab the pole axe, because that's what I'm going to try and have her do. And I think that should be fine. Let's go ahead and save now. Okay, with that done, let's move out. Now here's the gimmick that I promised to show. As long as you stay within the thickets, well, you'll see at the end of this turn. Also, this music is great. The kind of, yes, extended version of Ike's theme. So even though it looks like the enemy should be able to see Titania, they can't. As long as you stay within the boundaries of this forest, the enemy doesn't even get a turn. So you have all the time in the world to get into the right position before ambushing the enemies. It's a pretty cool mechanic, honestly. However, it does really hurt your turn count if you play it this way. The maximum turns for full bonus experience here is 9. So just be aware of that. But you can make up some of the bonus experience by having extra characters escape. I just always find it fun doing this. No turns for you. Okay, now here is where I start to get a little bit concerned. So I might want to start my ambush now. Let's see how much damage Ike will do to you. Oh, wow, Ike just destroys you. He's doubling even with the steel sword, but that's probably because the enemy also has a steel sword. Ike's actually getting a little over-leveled, though. I'll need to watch out for the enemies down here. That guy has a javelin. Oh, okay, so Soren will end up getting attacked by 2 enemies if I have him around here. Or I could block off Soren with Boyd. Yeah, I think I'll try that. Okay, thankfully Soren is doubling this guy. Okay, so we have officially exited the cover of the woods. This means the enemies have spotted us and will now start actually having turns. So you'll want to plan when you jump out of the forest, depending on when you're ready. Okay, Oscar's not quite in the right spot. Ike, I think, needs to go here. And I might as well use the Regal Sword just because in case the Armor Knight attacks him. Well, actually it won't matter because it has a Javelin. Just realized that as I was saying it. Okay, thankfully none of them can get to us though. And thankfully you can't reach Soren. I was worried for a second, but turns out I didn't really need to be. Okay, don't want to equip the hammer because, as you can see, Boyd's Avoid just goes down to 0 if I do that, because it is really, really heavy. How much strength do you have? Yeah, you are just... You can't even negate half of its weight. I'm gonna stick with that Iron Axe for now. And you're just gonna continue to hide in the woods. Meanwhile, Titania is going to go charge! But first I need to watch out for the poleaxe just because I want to not quite get attacked by that just yet. And I'm going to have her use the hand axe here, just so that the javelin guy dies. You won't see that he has a javelin there, but he is going to die on the enemy phase. The strategy here is to have Titania solo this entire half of the map, because that's just what she does, while Ike and the others deal with the other half. And I think she's gonna stay here. So yeah, we get a bit of a cutscene showing us that the enemy spotted us. Also, this boss's name being, I think it's just Emil, not Emil, but... Now I'm just picturing this guy constantly making bad puns and having all the soldiers near him yelling, Emil! But yeah. Now, I actually don't want Soren to kill this guy. I really hope he doesn't activate Adept, because that would be bad in this circumstance. Oh wait, even with Adept he wouldn't kill, that's fine. And the Armor Knight should not be able to reach Soren, that's good. We'll admit that the enemy battle theme does get a little bit repetitive, but I really like the player battle theme at this point. And there's another archer, which can't reach anyone yet. And hello. This is why I equipped the javelin. Now, seeing as you have a steel bow, am I going to double you? No, because javelins are super heavy. But that is kind of a balancing factor, because they tend to be... What is up with Oscar gaining magic? Really? Why? Not that it really matters that much, because I'm not, really planning on using him, but, Well, hi there, Overkill. That at least saves one use of the hand axe, so I'm fine with getting a crit there. Also, something that I find funny about the appearance of enemy mages in this game, which I'll talk about, when I see the next one. Meanwhile, Titania has not got hit at all. Probably because axes are just so good in this game. Yeah, there are a lot of enemy lance users. And that's exactly what I wanted you to do. But this side is getting a little close for comfort. Firstly, though, yeah, there's the poleaxe. I'm going to run in and, yeah, I am going to smash you in the face and grab your poleaxe and throw away my iron axe. And then Titania will have claimed her canonical weapon. Yep, that missed anyway, thought so. Because all of the official art of Titania, as well as the opening movie, shows her using a poleaxe. I like the look of poleaxes in this game, too. And they're called halberds sometimes. Might as well have you go down here. But, okay, here's the point where I might need to be a little bit worried. Really? I am one off killing you. Well, that's very unfortunate. Oh, Oscar is too. Huh. Though I may actually need to have Oscar do this. As I said, though, I do really like the player phase battle theme in this game. It even got used for the arena theme in Shadow Dragon. I miss arena themes being, Okay, should Oscar stay there or should he move? I'm gonna have him move for now, just to keep my options open. No doubling with a hammer, I thought so. And yeah, Ike doesn't even do a lot with the Regal Sword against that guy. And he is not doubling that guy at all. I guess because you only have an iron bow. Not risking that either. I have an idea here. I could actually have... I mean, firstly, I could try for Adept, and if I don't get it, I'll have, like, Ike or Boyd finish that. That's just an Iron Lance. So, 8, and, you effectively have 15. Takes 7. He's got a vulnerary. Ike should be relatively fine here. Wait a minute, let me check something. That could actually be bad if Boyd misses, though. Yeah, just in case I need to have Ike finish this guy off for some reason. Please don't miss Void. Thank you. Now Soren can finish that guy off. It's also kind of weird how all enemy archers are redheads in this game. Okay, yeah, now Soren's going to finish this guy off. And then Ike's going to use a vulnerary, and he's going to stay where he is. And hopefully everything will be fine. Don't want to speak too soon, but this chapter is actually going a bit smoother than it did when I first, when I did my previous playthrough of this game. That's pretty much typical Soren. Actually, a lot better than typical Soren. Do have to watch out for the uses of Soren's wind tome, though. He tends to require quite a few uses of it to actually kill things, so it runs down pretty quickly, and thankfully we are going to be finding a droppable fire tome in the next chapter, so it's not that bad. Okay, I'm glad that you went for Ike, because I was worried for a second that if everything dogpiled on Oscar, he may have died, but the AI just loves to prioritize not getting countered. Okay, Ike should be okay here. He should be, and he's definitely going to be, because that missed. Yeah, there's something that I want to talk about regarding the sound effects that Armor Knights make in this game, but I will be talking about it in the next chapter, because there are a lot more Armor Knights on that map. And there are quite a few enemies here, but it's nothing that Titania can't completely solo. That's they can't handle, but saying Titania is handling this is an understatement. Like, seriously, look at that. Yeah. This half of the map is just Titania is amazing. That sums up the way this battle is going entirely. Hello there, stupid soldiers. I wish Ike did more to you. Ike does get a lot better later in the game, trust me, but for now, he's a little bit behind. It's funny how slow the attacking animations of the regular Cavaliers are in this game. Titania swings her axe pretty quickly, though. Might come from the fact that her class has that whole fastest movement speed thing going for it. Okay, I think I need to... Yeah, I'm going to have you go there, just so that you get out of the forest. And here, Soren has no chance of being critical, even though that doesn't matter, because the enemy is not going to be able to attack him. And more enemies down for Soren. Okay, there's one soldier that's incoming. Oh, right, that stupid archer. They have to do a three-pronged attack against this guy. Or not, because Oscar can't hit things, apparently. Well, I was about to say bond support for the win, but that hit rate is terrible. Void is actually a lot worse for me at this point than he usually is, and that worries me because I tend to rely on him for holding down one part of the next chapter. He's kind of close to leveling up, but yeah, I normally have way, like, I think Void had like 12 strength by the next chapter when I first played. 8 damage, and there's an annoying archer there who's going to not die on the enemy phase because annoying archers. And I'm gonna have to vulnerary Ike again. Next chapter I might swap over the fighter band over to Ike, because I might want him to get a little bit of strength here. Okay, that guy's a javelin. I think at this point Titania should just go for her hand axe. So, maybe we'll be able to see, or maybe we won't, because Titania will just destroy this guy. Well, she didn't, because she missed. We didn't get a good enough look at it. Basically, the generic mage battle model, it always looked to me like they were wearing sunglasses. That was probably not the intention of the battle model, but I always just, whenever I play this game, generic mages look like they wore sunglasses. Yeah, you're going and attacking Ike. What else is new? This might not have happened if Oscar had actually hit the archer, but oh well. Because then Ike would have been able to finish it, and then I wouldn't have been able to use a Vulnerary on him, because the one Armor Knight alone wouldn't have been enough to kill him. So, yeah. I do find that Oscar can have a bad start sometimes. He does tend to get really good later on, but sometimes his early game suffers a little bit for me. Yeah, I thought that wouldn't kill. But that is fine. I will eliminate you next turn. I really want to eliminate all of you, though, because you're being really, really annoying. You are basically the only enemies left for Ike's half of the map, and I just realized this is like a double splitting up situation because, we split up before the chapter, and now we've split up into Titania and not Titania. You didn't double that guy? Really? I'm starting to worry about Ike a little bit now. It's like that, yes, I actually did watch the So This Is Basically Fire Emblem video, and I did love how, when they did that level up on the Lord, and she was like, another 3 levels like that, and I'm gonna be useless. Which is really true. Some aspects of that were, like, admittedly a little bit inaccurate, but particularly the thing about axes being the one that sucks, because they really aren't in this game, but I think they got the Camus archetype perfect. That was just the perfect description of it. It's just like, can't you just join us? No, I am going to die so that you feel bad. And then he dies, and then you get a level up, and everyone celebrates. Like I said, I don't know why I didn't double that guy. I could go for that, and then how much damage does Soren do? 12. But then I'll have to make sure that I block the archers from attacking Soren. Yeah, one of the pluses of having weapons with unique battle models is that hammers actually look like hammers. Unlike the GBA games, where they look the exact same as every other axe. And yeah, also daggers actually look like daggers here. Unlike the, thieves in the GBA games who use swords that suddenly turn into daggers when they use them. I would have appreciated a dodge there, but that's fine. This guy is finally down. Yes, he was kind of doing his class's job of roadblocking. And now I need to move someone into a position where Soren cannot get shot by the archer. Oh yeah, I can't do that because Bryce is back there. Should I do that, or should I just do this? Reducing you to 11, which I can't finish off, unfortunately. Sadly, I'm going to have to do this then. Or Oscar will get a critical. Okay, I take back you failing earlier on. You redeem yourself. That's going to make things a lot easier. I guess that was because you're adjacent to Boyd. So now, yeah, we have these guys who I forget if they move or not. Sometimes enemies that are guarding bosses don't move. But I actually have to have somebody go there, because otherwise Soren is going to get attacked. You're still not doubling, but I'm going to go for this anyway to see if I get a critical. Which would be really nice right about now, just saying, game. And Ike leveled up, even though that wasn't a kill. Please get a good... Okay. Yeah, his skill is getting a little bit screwed. In fact, I probably don't even need to switch the fighter band onto him, because that strength is not bad. It's mostly just the skill that's worrying me a bit. Meanwhile, in Titania Land... It's that annoying mage, though. Yeah, I just want to get rid of this guy. And once again, this is Titania's amazing land. And I guess I can test whether you guys move or not. I think it's like turn 7 now or something. And stolen vulnerary. Because enemies love doing that. And you're also annoying. But you'll probably get to live, if only because you're going to be out of range of most of my characters by the time I think about ending this chapter. And I'll get you eventually, but not just yet. We'll be able to buy hand axes soon, so I'm not too worried about using my hand axe that much here. I'll need it a little bit for the next chapter, but not that much. Okay, so we're on turn 8. Which means one more turn and we start losing bonus experience, but I'm not too bothered about that. Oh yeah, you got pretty much fully healed, so even with all that, Ike is not going to finish you, because for some reason Ike isn't doubling! Always annoying when... I mean, that's supposed to be the thing that sword users have going for them, is that they double more consistently than other classes do to make up for being pretty weak. Could you get a critical here? That would be appreciated. No. Because, yeah, due to his critical animation being that forward slide, you'll know from the moment his animation begins whether it's a critical or not. I now need to heal Soren. Okay, that makes you a Sea and Staves now. Okay, just in case these guys... Well, doesn't actually matter anyway, because Soren can't even get in range. I also find it kind of strange there aren't any reinforcements on this map. This mage could be a problem for the rest of us if I leave him around, so... Yeah, the poleaxe is pretty heavy for Titania, but I'm just going to try and get rid of you. Unfortunately, because I'm leaving the priest alive, we won't get to hear the victories. What is up with this mage? This mage has somehow taken on the soul of Zed because he's dodging everything. That's not going to save you. That is, though. But yeah, the main reason why I want to hear the victory as near theme for this chapter is because this is the last chapter where it plays. I don't know why. I almost feel like it's probably a glitch. But yeah, Victory is Near does not play for any chapter beyond this one, despite the fact that it really should. Because there are other Seize or Escape maps where it's possible to reduce the number of enemies to just one. But for some reason, not even doubling mages? Wow. Three damage. When I said enemy mages were pretty bad, your own mages still kind of struggle against them. Okay, finally you can dodge. And now I will finish you off. As much as I'd like to finish you off with Soren, I don't think that's gonna happen. Can't even get perfect accuracy on you, which worries me because you've been dodging a lot. But you didn't dodge that time. I'm so sorry. I actually feel bad for this guy now because he was actually being pretty impressive for a generic enemy. Not quite as impressive as that stupid Archer in my Sacred Stones playthrough for some reason. That guy was weird. That guy was really weird. Alright, in order to do this, I'm gonna have Titania hit and run, but she will actually instead kill and run because she can't weaken this guy. But that's fine. I just want you gone so that priest isn't just running around healing you all the time and making you invincible. Speaking of priests and invincible, I'm going to heal Titania with my priest. It is funny because Titania is practically invincible. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to need to start fighting these guys. Obviously, this guy won't move off of his escape points. That is one annoying thing about this game. Even for enemies who don't move, this game won't show you... Like, it'll still show you their full movement range. Which can sometimes make it hard to tell which enemies move and which don't. Actually, let me see something. 7 speed, 12 speed, minus 4. So you're effectively 8 speed. So you don't double Void. Actually, what's your crit rate? 6, and then Void's lucky is... You probably know what I just realized. I'm not going to say it, though. One thing that I haven't actually addressed yet is that they don't show the combat forecast on the battle screen in Path of Radiance. Apparently the reason why they did that is that skills can potentially affect it during battle, but I don't find that to be a particularly good explanation. It can be really annoying if, say, someone gets dogpiled by a bunch of enemies on the enemy phase, and you want to know exactly how much damage these enemies are doing to them. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. Or say someone gets hit by a cheap critical and you want to know if, said critical had a high chance or not. So yeah, the lack of combat forecast during the enemy phase can be a bit annoying. You get used to it, but I like the fact that Radiant Dawn brought it back. Okay, so Titania doubles you with a hand axe, but not with the steel axe. That's interesting. As you can probably tell, I'm going to try and have Soren get the kill on the boss here. Actually, Soren could get the kill on this guy. Sort of going to feed him kills, because once Soren gets going, he really gets going. But at this point, he's not that strong, but that will change. Nice, exactly enough. Might not even need to give you the boss kill. That's also pretty decent. That one defense is probably not going to help you very much. You still die in 2 hits from nearly everything, but it's at least something. Alright, if I remember correctly, this boss actually has a pretty good conversation with Ike. 7 times 2. Well, Oscar's doubling something, but only because that something has a javelin. Oscar's usually pretty good about doubling things, though. Especially once he gets going. And hey, another level up from not actually killing something. If you get magic here, I swear... I don't even know what's going on anymore. Oscar has somehow... There was a comment on the first part of this that was when someone was talking about how he had an Ike who just kept gaining magic, and someone said, the rare Mahor Shawjaw Ike. But in this case, it's the Mahor Shawjaw Oscar. And that's a very strange image. How much do you do? Oh, you don't even have a critical rate at all. You do 11. And you do 7. I can't have you get hit by both of them. Yeah, I think for now I might... Oh, no, that's actually going to be really bad because, yeah. I have an idea. I want to keep some uses of that hand axe for the next chapter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap one of the iron axes over to Titania, and, you can have Titania's old steel axe. Yeah, that's better. Except the boss is definitely going to attack Soren because, lower defense, that tends to be the AI's priority. So, I could still probably go for this. I would say that there's another reason why I wouldn't go for Titania, and that's because it would kill him, but bosses, well, most enemies in this game, in terms of, like, their attacking AI, they don't really take self-preservation into account. They'll just go for whatever does the most damage, regardless of how much damage they'll take in return. When it comes to movement AI, though, they have a lot of self-preservation in this game, as you've obviously seen. Okay, if you take 5 and then from the boss 9, yeah, that's fine. And I'm using the Regal Sword a lot here only because I don't really find it to be the most useful thing. Like, in most of my playthroughs, I almost never break this. You never get another one, but you don't really need it. Okay, so here's where Victory is Near would start playing if both these priests were dead, but they are not. Okay, Moment of Truth time. Who are you going for? Of course, this space is going to slightly heal him. I thought you would do that. At least this means, special boss conversation. That's probably Ike's first really snarky boss quote. But there'll be many more over the course of the game. I don't think I'll be showing all of Ike's boss quotes, but I'll be trying to show as many of the earlier game ones as possible. Okay, here's a problem, because no matter who I kill the boss with, this chapter's going to go on for longer because, yeah, I need to take an extra turn to have everyone escape. You don't even kill him even with Adept. It's funny, I don't actually think this map theme plays very often. 5. Might as well go for this. I mean, technically speaking, Boyd needs some more experience here, but I really don't want him to miss. Don't really want Oscar to attack with the Javelin. Okay, gonna try this. We're hearing the first few notes of this song a lot now. And now, might as well have Soren get the kill. Don't think this will be a level up, though. That would be a lot more intimidating if there actually were reinforcements or some kind of a turn limit in this chapter, but there isn't. Also, we have that, which, that's very heavy for Oscar. I think I might trade that to Titania, we'll see. I can do that on the preparation screen in the next chapter. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be finishing off this priest, so I don't think we'll be hearing Victory is Near just yet. I can get a bit of cheap experience here, though. I always feel bad for attacking defenseless healers like this, but it is at least some experience. Also, their death animation is kind of sad. They just sort of wait for a second and then just slowly slump down. But here, I can at least start the escape train by having Titania escape. And there she goes. So everyone besides Ike who escapes the map is worth 10 bonus experience. And because of that, I could have Rice stick around here and heal someone for experience for him, but that'll cost us more bonus experience, so I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to have you escape right now. Don't worry, Ike is going to be escaping this turn too. There goes Boyd. Actually, no, I'll have Soren be the last to escape before Ike. Finally, Soren. And lastly, Ike. So, this is nowhere near as sadistic as Thracia 776, where in that game's escape chapters, you actually had to do this if you wanted people to not die, because anyone who was still on the map after the main lord of that game escaped was considered captured, which was effectively the same as being dead. Here, though, the only reason to have people escape before Ike is for extra bonus experience, but definitely do that whenever you can. It's always best to have Ike escape last. So that chapter actually went pretty well. It's a pretty basic chapter overall. Yeah, we're not out of it yet. There's also the pursuit, remember? And the fact that we know, thanks to dramatic irony, that Dayan has a pretty major general on our tail. For now, though... I was gonna say we don't have time to worry about them, but we actually do. Yeah, Ike is being a little bit... screw the plan, we need to help people. Are you gonna be okay without bodyguards? Still, everyone getting out of here alive is a good goal to work towards. I like the emotional portraits in this game, though. They have a lot of expression to them. And a conversation between the brothers here, which obviously happens very differently or doesn't happen at all, depending on whether or not Oscar or Boyd are dead. We also have this moment. I feel like HPs at this point aren't really high enough that men staves are that useful. They at least give a little bit more experience than regular heal staves, though. And by this point, it's definitely feasible that if you've been playing slowly, Rice might be running low on his heal staff by now, so that's probably why the game gives this to you. Because you can't buy staves yet, and if your one healer has no staff uses left, that is a problem. So yeah, this is a pretty good failsafe from a game design standpoint. Even though Mend is a bit overkill at this point. I think this is the first time we're hearing mention of the goddess by name. That I can't take that line seriously now, thanks to Sonic 06. I'm surprised Soren isn't objecting to this plan at all. But anyway, that's the end of this chapter, and as you can see there, I got less bonus experience than normal for this one. This chapter, you lose 20 off of the maximum bonus experience rather than 10 for each turn you exceed the limit for. But yeah, the allies' escapes helps you make up for it somewhat. Next time, we go to rescue our comrades, and have probably the most intense fight of the early game.